Well, good to see you, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you very much indeed for doing the interview. I want to start with you and your memories that you'll take away of the UK. And here you are, you've been, what, 3 and a bit years as ambassador?
Let's call it 3.5.
3.5 years. Ambassador to the court of St. James in this wonderful metropolitan city. Yet your favourite city in the UK is somewhere else. It's Hull. Why?
Well, I do love Hull, and I should say I also love London, which has been my family's home for 3.5 years, and it has been a total joy and honor to serve my country, in your country, in this capital city. And I love getting out and about. I mean, 87% of British people, of course, don't live in London. Probably 87% of our team here at the embassy do live in London. So that's something I was eager to get out and about. I live in a great city back home called Louisville, Kentucky, which isn't the capital city of our country. And I know the great things that go on in cities that maybe everyone doesn't go to first.
We heard from Barack Obama when he was over here last year, before the referendum on the EU, that Britain, if it voted to leave, would fall to the back of the queue when it came to trade deals. Yet we get from Boris Johnson, the Foreign Secretary, today that Britain's in the driving seat when it comes to a trade deal. Which is it?
Well, there are two different points in time. Last year, the UK and the United States, along with the other members of the European Union, were deep into this transatlantic trade and investment partnership, which, as you and your viewers remember, then Prime Minister Cameron and President Obama kicked off together at June of 2013. A big, ambitious deal that would bring higher wages and more jobs to the UK and other members of Europe and to the United States. That was the big hope. That was a big, ambitious deal with the UK at the forefront. So to the extent that that is not happening, continued deals between the United States and the United Kingdom, of course that's a good thing. We were, and I think it's worth, in that context, acknowledging that the other thing was really worth pursuing. With 500 million plus consumers and citizens in the European Union and 300 plus million Americans, that, with really high standards on both sides for consumer product safety, for labor standards, for environmental standards, that was a big deal. That's why we worked so hard on it.
Let's talk about the Obama legacy. He's making his valedictory speech a bit later this evening. Successes and failures. Biggest success, of course, is one he points out, is when he came into power, how quickly we forget America was in recession, on the edge of depression.
Yeah.
And he avoided that.
Yeah, well said. And it's always hard to make the case about how much worse it could have been. In this case, he doesn't need to make that point because look how much better it has gotten, right? Unemployment at 10% down to 4.7%. The stock market has tripled. And most importantly, because the stock market is a metric, it's not the most important metric for our country in terms of what working families in America need to feel more financially secure, wages are growing for the fastest pace that they have in over 60 years. So lots has been accomplished by the American workers, by companies, by everyone trying to do their part. That's been an amazing story. And the president always makes this point, a lot of work left to do.
Let's turn to the imminent Trump presidency. Just absolutely straightforward question here. How worried are you about the future for America and the world under Donald Trump?
Well, look, in my situation here with you today, I can't make comments on the president-elect. We have one president at a time. I serve President Obama. Of course, I have my personal politics. Who doesn't? We all do. But there's a really important tradition in our system of not being a Democratic ambassador or a Republican ambassador. So publicly and privately, I need to keep that to myself.
But what do you think, I mean, given your knowledge of public service and the issue of appointments, is this a looming problem for Donald Trump?
Which one?
Some of the people he wants to put in there, some of their backgrounds, some of the pronouncements they've made on race and other issues when they face those committees that have to give them the once-over, and indeed trying to appoint members of his own immediate family.
Every president gets to pick the team that they want to have surrounding them. I get that. That's what President Obama did. It's what President-elect Trump is doing, and every president before him. And then we also have checks and balances in our systems. We have the Office of Government Ethics. We have our Senate, who has committees that, depending on which job it is, you go through.
I mean, you understand the process, but you think he'll run into some trouble?
Well, look, I think every 4 years or every 8 years, when we have a changeover, the people pick their teams. Some are controversial, some aren't, some breeze through, some it takes a little bit longer. I think let's not prejudge it. Let's see how that process goes forward.
And what about the Democratic Party? If Michelle Obama came to you in 4 or 8 years' time or whatever and said, maybe I should run now. The Democratic Party needs me. Could you see that happening?
In that hypothetical, I guess I'm not supposed to really answer hypotheticals. It's such a happy and fun one. I would be thrilled. Although my boss, her husband, went on the record a few weeks back sort of categorically ruling out her desire to run for public office. So
well, we heard that from Hillary Clinton a few years back.
Well, okay, I don't want to preempt my boss, but I am a huge fan, and I think that is not unique to me. Many Americans from both parties, people around the world, certainly I hear it a lot in the United Kingdom. And when she came here for that visit with the Mulberry School for Girls, I mean, she is an incredible, powerful leader, and I'm a big fan.
And lastly, Matthew, when you get back to Kentucky, where are you going to get your sticky toffee pudding?
Oh, well, I have to learn how to make it. My brother-in-law is an amazing cook. He's from Hartlepool, so I'm relying on him teaching it to me, and then I'm going to have to start cooking it.
Ambassador Matthew Barzun, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.